Welcome back to Viewer the Voice. Today we're going to be talking about lack of parental acknowledgement. And for a quick definition of how I would define lack of parent acknowledgement, it comes in many forms, right? But mainly how I would view it, just overall lack of accountability and responsibility and the parent's perspective, right? So we all know whole parent to child connection is very, very different. We'll say that it's very different. Some may have a very strong connection with their parents, right? Some parents may refuse to allow their children to feel as if they can have like an equal status with them, so they try to assert their own form of dominance, right? And we all know each of the parenting styles have their pros and cons. Ultimately, there's no right or wrong way to parent, unless you're just an absent or neglectful parent altogether, of course. But what some parents need to understand too is just because you provide certain things doesn't mean everything is just all well in terms of you and your child. For some instances of this, if you give your child something for like a special occasion, or when you feel like it's right to give them something, or you think just because you gave them this gift a while ago that it makes up for anything in the future, that's not how it works. Basically, it's like, let's picture this. I have this close friend, right? And it was his 13th birthday, and I bought him a video game that we both been looking forward to getting, right? And basically, my excuse for not getting him a gift the following year and the year after that and whatever, or using that as an excuse to treat him wrongfully, is me saying, well, remember when I got you that gift back when we were 13, and so on and so forth, so that if you feel like you could try to come at me in whatever way, just remember I'm not going to get you any more gifts because I got you this and you should be grateful. And you feel me? Whole lot of random stuff, right? This isn't the right way to parent your children, right? Because you trying to hold certain things above them only makes them resent you even more. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and just act like parents aren't great. Parents, they do hold their fair share of amazing things that they do for the children. They make great sacrifices all the time. I'm very much respectful to parents or people who are becoming parents or having parents or whatever the case may be. I respect the sacrifices they made and their responsibilities that they take charge to do. But at the same time, you have to realize some of these responsibilities aren't just because you want to do them. They're your job. You have to do them. Same way it's like if I go to school, just because I turn in an assignment doesn't mean I should get some brownie points for it. I'm required to turn in an assignment. You feel me? I'm obligated to do the work because I'm in school. I need to pass. This is my job. And even as a child, it's my job to be respectful to the parent. But respect is also something that has to be earned and reciprocated. You cannot expect your children to always just bow down to you if you aren't giving them a reason to see you so highly, right? And I think parents do need to realize that some of the things that you do or don't do for your children heavily affect them more than you think. Constantly arguing with your child, holding things above their head, not paying attention to them at all. These are all things that could have their benefits, but also have their very harsh negatives on the child that you see in front of you and who they could become in the future. So if you're the type of person that has a child and you think you need to be on them all the time, teach them this, that, and the third, yes, to an extent, that's great. Understand that parents want to have complete control over their children so that they make sure that they're understanding the right and proper things. But some things you have to let your children learn and experience on their own. Otherwise, the way you teach them may never fully stick. So if you want your child to learn to be disciplined and you try to form up this schedule for them, let's say you're dealing with a teenage child and he has basketball practice, he has a lot of homework to do. Yeah, you still want him to do his chores, attend these classes, you want him to do this, that, and third. Understand you're trying to teach them responsibility, but at the same time, make sure the responsibility you put on them isn't just you trying to take some off of your load, right? Or even then, if they tell you that they could get to it later, respect that. We have priorities. If his priority is make sure that he gets his work done immediately, or getting the basketball practice immediately, don't try to be like, oh no, do this now. He said he'll do it, but just come back to it later, of course. Or don't just try to, let's say you had a hard day at work. Do not come back and try to just throw so many things at your child and just use them as a punching bag because you can't deal with your own problems, and yet you try to project so much onto them when all you're doing is really pushing them away and hiding from the problem that you come across day to day. I've seen a lot of cases with either my friends or just people, wherever. And most of the time, their hardest thing to come across as growing up is the relationship that they build with their parent, right? And some people want that relationship with their parent. Nobody wants to just live without a mother or without a father, right? And what I mean by that is you may be physically present, but you may not play that mother role for them. You may not play that father role for them when that's what they need. Because you learn so much and you pick up so much off of the role model that you live with most of your life. At least growing up anyways, right? And if you don't give them someone to look up to, then they may be lucky to find it somewhere else. And that might help them or it might ruin them. Because people can only get so lucky. Like, let's say, hopefully, back to the basketball hypothetical. Let's say that kid has a great coach that he looks up to. Maybe he has some great teachers that he built really strong bonds with, and they show him how to really be responsible and be disciplined and do what they need to do. Another form of a huge lack of parent acknowledgement is just strictly not being there at all when your child may need it most. Like, let's say school. There are a lot of people in school that will go there and parents will not know what's going on in that environment, and it's a completely different person. Some people go to school and maybe it's better for them. Maybe they get an escape from all the BS that their parent is throwing at them all over the place, constantly. But some people go to school and become a whole different person, and that hurts them, that ruins them. They do that maybe to get their parents' attention, maybe because their parents just don't care at all and just let them do what they do. But that's not great. That's not great because it starts at home. So if your child is going out and doing some things that you know very well you wouldn't want them doing, make sure you see it. Because parents don't. I promise you, most of the time they don't. Otherwise, these children would not be showing up and just doing whatever they want to do. Treating school as a play area, a chill area, right? Because they know deep down that their parent wouldn't want them doing that. And maybe they have a bad parent, and maybe their parent doesn't care. Maybe the parent just wants them to do whatever they want to do. Regardless, you know very well you shouldn't and wouldn't want to be doing that, or your child would be doing that in a sense. So why do that for yourself? Why let yourself do these certain things that will not make you nor your parent proud? And like I said, strictly as a parent, these are moments and areas where you need to step up as well to be there for them. You would never want your child to be in a predicament where they can't excel or prevail, or where all you're doing is hurting them at the end of the day. If you put your child in a situation where they have to struggle and fight their way out without you helping them, that's not great parenting. If you make your child feel so secluded to where their only place to reach out for help is anywhere outside the home, you're not a good parent. Why would you make your children or your child feel as if they cannot be safe or protected with you? And like I said, I respect parents. I do. I often try to see the two sides of everything. Everything has two sides, maybe more, and I try to respect that. Like, I do see parents that try. Sometimes it isn't the parent's fault that their child does get lost. Like I said, accountability does take more than one person. We all have to be accountable in some way, in some fashion. If someone did wrong by me, there's still some things that I could be accountable for. Even if I didn't cause all the pain, do all the harm, there are still some things I might have messed up. If someone came to me and they just started cursing me out or were very frustrated, and I didn't help by trying to tone them down. Maybe I reciprocated that. At the end of the day, yes, they were the one that came at me frustrated, but even then, I'm the one that probably made it accelerate. But I do strictly believe that a lot of problems that people do face, especially growing up, of course, it will always, if not most likely, stem from the way they're being raised. So if you do see an error with your child, and majority of that error does not come from the environment, it most likely comes from people within that environment, and majority of that environment will be in that house. So if you have a toxic household that you refuse to fix, you refuse to acknowledge, then at the same time you're refusing to acknowledge your own child's suffering and pain, because that household will only make them worse. The environment will only continue to make them worse. And like I said, over time, all they'll want to do is resent. And that's not a great thing. Fortunately, I don't face that issue with my parents. Whether that stems from them being great parents, whether that stems from me being very forgetful, regardless of the matter, there's no reason for me to look at them negatively. And there's no reason for them to look at me negatively and try to project their issues onto me, and vice versa. But unfortunately, not everyone is lucky enough to have that. And for the parents that don't bless their children with that luck and make it only harder for them, the question really is why. And it's not for us, it's for you to understand and to find an answer to, because why on earth would you want to make it more difficult for them? One of the most common ways too that this exists is maternal jealousy, where a mother and a daughter share jealousy tendencies, but more so on the mother's behalf, where for whatever reason, maybe the mother is just jealous of the opportunities the daughter is given, even though you're supposed to provide them with those opportunities. I don't know much on why it exists, because obviously I'm not a woman, of course, so I haven't experienced it firsthand, but I can say, in most of my female friends or even my own partner, it does exist heavily. And like I said, there's just no real reason for it, because why as a mother would you want to be jealous towards your offspring? But that's not my kind of question to answer. I'm gonna do multiple parts on this, but for this video I'm gonna end it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.